Well, it's a pleasure to be back, and before I get started, I'll draw people's attention to our safe harbor language, as I will be making forward-looking statements through the course of the presentation. But I'm pleased to be here to tell you how we are developing Teranga into the next multi-asset mid-tier gold producer in West Africa. We've got assets at all stages. We've got a producing mine in Senegal. We're developing a project in Burkina Faso, and we have both advanced as well as early stage exploration programs in French West Africa. We've got an experienced management team, and we're backed by a cornerstone shareholder in David Mimran, who currently owns 22% of the company and sits on the board. And when you look at the valuation slide, and it's no different than any of our peers, we're all trading at a discount. We put out 2 updated technical reports last year on our 2 projects. And along with our cash, that's about $7.50 per share Canadian, and we're currently trading at less than half that. So we see ourselves as both a value and a growth story. And as you look at the next slide, since the delisting off of the ASX, the delisting couldn't have come at a worse time last year as liquidity dried up in the sector, and so we had forced selling, took our share price down, but we completed that delisting on the 12th of December. And you can see the stock has recovered materially since that point. We're covered by a number of Canadian brokers, and a number of them have just increased their rating on us to an outperform, including RBC and BMO. So our vision is to be a multi-asset, multi-jurisdiction West African gold producer, and we think that's an ambitious vision, but we think that we're well on our way. So when we compare ourselves to where we were a year ago when we were at this conference, we're a single asset, single jurisdiction, and now we are developing into a multi-asset, multi-jurisdiction gold producer with a pipeline of organic growth. So at the beginning of the year, we outlined, being 2017, a list of key priorities, and we pleased to say we're checking off those boxes. First and foremost, production. We delivered record production at Sabodala, our flagship mine in Senegal, of 233,000 ounces of gold. We moved Banfora, which has been renamed Wagnaw, we completed the feasibility study, and now that's moving into construction, and we expect first pour in Q4 of next year. And third, we had quite a bit of success on the exploration front, both on our 2 mine licenses, as well as across our portfolio of exploration properties. And what we're most excited about is Golden Hill, an advanced exploration property in Burkina Faso that I'll talk a little bit more about in a minute. So looking at our flagship Sabodala mine, it came into production in 2009. We put an updated tech report out mid-year last year, and it's got 2.7 million ounces, 13.5-year reserve life, all-in sustaining cost life of mine just under $900. Over the next 5 years, we expect it to generate over $230 million in free cash flow that is really going to help fund our organic growth pipeline. We've got further exploration potential in Senegal, particularly at Sabodala. Our largest deposit in Akaferi sits under the village of Sabodala. We're currently in the process of moving that village, and once we've moved that village, we'll have access to complete that drill program. So we certainly think that both on the mine license and regionally, there's still opportunities, but it is now a mature asset that we've got. So turning our attention to Banfora, which is now Wagnaw, that is absolutely key as I'll talk about financing first before I get into it. Wagnaw is going to cost about $230 million to build. We finished last year with $88 million in cash. These are US dollars. We expect Sabodala to generate more than $90 million in free cash flow over the next 2 years, combined with a $150 million debt facility, which we're in the final stages of completing. We're well positioned to be able to move forward with Banfora, now called Wagnaw, and without raising equity. And I think there was some concern in the market that equity would be required, but it will not be. So now to be able to talk about, did I get my slides out of order? Sabodala, can we move forward? Okay, so can we go to Wagnaw? Thanks. So as we look at Wagnaw, we put together our first feasibility study, 1.2 million ounces, 9-year mine life. We expect that number to grow. We've just completed a 75,000 meter infill drill program. That's gone very well. We'll have an updated reserve and technical report by mid-year, and we're just really getting started. There are about half dozen to a dozen regional targets, which we will begin exploring next year, and ultimately we think we'll have 2 to 3 million ounces at Welgemeend, and it'll be a good solid producer for us. So Golden Hill. So we just put out our latest exploration release last Thursday. We're getting very high-grade near-surface results, and it's located on the Hyundai Belt. So we're just adjacent to the Endeavour's project. They just completed the Hyundai project. You've got rocks and Samifo above us, and you've got Acacia below us. So we think we're well situated, and we're getting very good results. So we're excited about that project as we start to move forward. So we began drilling last January. We've now drilled 5 targets, and we're getting very good results from all 5 of those, high-grade near surface. And so as we move forward, you can see from the next couple slides, the second and third phase drilling, we're seeing very good continuity. The Ma prospect is our most advanced. It's 2.5 kilometers in length, and we're down to about 125 meters, but that's working well. Jackhammer Hill, earlier stage, it's about 1 kilometer long. This is the target that we've gotten our highest grade results. We got one hit of 110 grams over 14 meters. That's going to be a high-grade target as we move forward. And then we've just announced some further results at Peksu and our first results at Zone C. And those all were high-grade, good widths. So as we move through the course of this year, we'll have a maiden resource at Golden Hill by year end. We're going to start our met work, and we're going to start doing our baseline environmental work as we start to move that through into PEA and ultimately into a feasibility study. Côte d'Ivoire is the next jurisdiction, the third country that we've moved into. We've done 2 JVs in the last 18 months. The first was for 4 early stage exploration properties. We've advanced one of them, Guitry, to the point where we're starting a drill program this week. We've identified a 3 by 7 kilometer anomaly. We've got an area of that where we're getting gold grades of 6 to 9 grams. And so that's a 4,000 meter RC program, and that should be completed shortly. And then in December, we announced a JV for the FEMA project, which is located in the southeast corner of Côte d'Ivoire, right adjacent to the Ghana border. And it's where 2 of those Ghanaian gold belts come together and intersect. So we've got a $2.5 million program for this year, and that program will build from that. There's a historic resource of about 2 million ounces on FEMA. A lot of that is refractory. We will not be focused on that. We'll be focused on the oxide and then looking at the regional potential. So in summary, looking at catalysts coming up, first and foremost, we expect another strong year out of Sabodala. We've announced our guidance for this year, 210 to 225,000 ounces, which sits above the 43-101. We expect to generate about $45 million of free cash flow from Sabodala this year, and that's at $1,250 gold. And then as we move forward, we'll have a series of Golden Hill results as we continue to drill that property, leading to a maiden resource by year end. And for Welgemeend, as we look through Q2, we'll complete the financing, begin mill construction, and then by mid-year we'll have a reserve upgrade, a new tech report, and then Côte d'Ivoire, we should have a series of exploration results as we move forward in Côte d'Ivoire. So that's the Teranga story. So we've moved from a single asset, single jurisdiction company, and we're now transitioning to a multi-asset, multi-jurisdictional producer with an organic growth pipeline that could potentially take us to 500,000 ounces or more. Thank you.